Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the threeohtake, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the threeohtake, presented by SeatGeek. This is episode 470. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. And Nate.
Happy Sunday. Monday for some of you underachievers. My overachievers, happy Sunday. You know who you are.
They're out there. I know they're out there.
They got the noties on. They know what they're doing. They're just next level. They're who I love most. I don't like to have favorites.
Yeah, we don't like to play favorites, but
if you got your noties on and you're hopping in with live,
you're kind of our favorites.
It's kind of a given.
Ricky says, how about that Dodgers walk-off?
You're going to have to... This button has to be retired soon.
Nope. I'm never retiring the breaking news button, just so we're clear. What a walk-off it was, though. Not that we need to talk about it, because I had no intention of really talking about it, but... David said, oh, hold on. David says first 120. Shout out the White Sox.
What a year.
Shout out the White Sox. We got, I love when people bring breaking news to the recordings. I love it. Scott says, why is the Philly fan wearing a Boston hat? Hey! Shout out being a bandwagon fan. Shout out being a bandwagon fan. Love that.
Just such a crazy, unnecessary stray, but I'm here for it.
Oh, my goodness. No, but that Dodgers walk-off, I don't know if you saw it, but it could not have been a more Dodgers walk-off. Shohei ties it up in the ninth with a solo shot to give him, 53, which we'll touch on. And then Mookie hits a walk-off. Just the most Dodgers thing ever.
To the Twitter.
Let's not get into it just yet. Let's sit here in this moment that we're in right now, Nate, and reflect on the fact that we have 1 week of regular season baseball left. Where did the time go?
It's weird. It's really weird. Because, at different moments...
It was opening day 3 days ago. So what happened?
It really doesn't feel that long ago that Ryan was buzzed on our Hot Takes episode.
Which, by the way, my social awareness when it comes to whether or not people are actually buzzed or just full on wasted. I mean, if somebody's just belligerent, I'm okay at picking up those cues. Yeah. But I just thought Ryan was having a good time. He had a little bit on the side there to enjoy.
The episode was long enough for him to sober up towards the end. But
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and then at the same time, it's like August felt like it was 3 months long.
That's true.
You know,
And here we are with a week to go in September, knocking on the door of the postseason.
yeah. Good for us. Another year in the books, man. Another regular season, just hammering out episodes, watching a whole lot of baseball. This is cool.
You watching some
got it
football
good.
on the side? Speaking of
Football
which,
going on the side.
do I have the freedom can I speak freely here?
Depends.
I'm not going to throw you under the bus here, but I need to pose a question to our listeners here. Well, let me lay out the scenario because there's a lot at play here. Okay, so Nate, obviously a Yankees fan. Let's just forgive him for that. Okay, we can forgive him for that. And he also, I'm going to come to his defense. He has the ability and the freedom to talk freely about other baseball teams. Just because he's a Yankees fan doesn't mean he can't talk about other teams. Just get that out of the way. But Nate's a Yankees fan. Nate also loves football. And he informed me just before we hopped on that he had the Yankees game on his iPad and he had football on the big TV. How do we feel about this? How do we feel about being a fan of a team that's already locked up the postseason?
Extensive lead in the division. Just a matter of time.
Extensively in the division, relegating that to the iPad.
Afternoon game against the A's, by the way. That's for more context.
It's still you're still a baseball first guy. How do is this allowed? Are we giving him a pass here? Because I'm on the fence.
When I have a $500 buy-in for my fantasy league,
that's fair.
It's going up on the main screen.
I forgot to remind myself of that. That's fair. That's
all
fair.
about context, my friend.
That's
about
fair.
context. Sunday, look, I'm in this weird lull before the postseason starts. The Yanks are playing great. I'm in this it's the A's. It's a sweep. I don't need to have the volume on. That's how I roll.
Speaking of $500 buy-in, let's talk about CJ Abrams. Washington National shortstop decided that it's time to mail this thing in. Let's head on over to Bally's, which, by the way, I feel obligated to call out some of the degenerates in the comments because there were some people when I put out the post that summarized the incident of him getting demoted, being sent down because he was out at the casino until 8 a.m, which you've probably been to a casino more times than I have. Being out late at night is one thing, but 8 a.m, is that normal behavior?
I don't know. I've played blackjack twice. When I go to the casino, I lose $20 in the slots and I'm out.
That's me. That's me.
See you later.
I get the $50 that they pump you with right away because it's all computerized now and they know how to latch you on. And then I say, I'm going to convince myself that I'm going to save it. And then I say, well, what's $5 here? What's $10 there? And then by the end of it, I've lost the house by the time that I leave. I've only gone a couple times, so not for me. But I got to call out the degenerates because they were like, yo, that's Bally's Casino, isn't it? I'm like, first of all, how can you recognize that from a picture, a cell phone picture of CJ Abrams?
Casinos look the same.
I'm concerned for the well-being of some of our listeners who recognize the casino from the cell phone picture taken by a bystander of CJ Abrams. Insane.
It's like table height, like sneaking around the dealer.
And they're like, oh yeah, no, that's Bally's and whatever. I don't even know.
It's table 17, isn't it? Like, like crazy. Just outing themselves.
That's Sarah. She just walked by with the drinks and the appetizers. Like, come on, let's clean it up.
Potato Skin Friday.
I guess though, I mean, now that I'm thinking it through, I guess if you know like what city he's in, because were they at home at this point or were they on the road?
It was Friday?
Was this in Cincy? Because I guess if I now that I'm thinking there, if you know what city and you're probably limited on casino options. But either way,
Chicago,
that's what it was. Either way, a little concerning that you can just spot. You know the waitresses walking by. You know the specials that they've got going on. A little much. But no, he has been demoted to AAA. And he's losing. What's crazy is I don't know if you saw this detail come out after.
He's losing money.
He's losing $30K. And at the time that he got
Just
sent
a
down,
drop in the bucket of what he lost on Friday.
That's very true. Yeah, you're not staying out till 8 a.m. if you're in the green. We know that much. You're trying to do a little bit of recouping.
Yeah,
we know that. But no, he's losing $30K, and I believe at the time that he got sent down, they only had 2 games left.
Really?
So like when it happened, before the news came out about the casino, people were like, me included. When I saw this, I'm going, there is no way that you can convince me his play has been that bad as of late to send him down with the week left in the big league season.
Right.
And then we find out about the casino, and then you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Which brings me to my next point. How do we feel about this? We'll just call it tough love. I mean, because this isn't just a benching. This is a full-blown demotion here because of his actions. How do we feel about it?
Sorry, I'm just reading through this article saying it was 8 for his last 17. It does say Bally Casino, Jim Bowden's tweet. I like it. Look, man, like, first off, we don't know if this is first time, right? Like, have they dragged him out of a casino before? Like, has this been an issue in the past? We don't know that. Did they keep it in-house before? And then this was like, was that a discussion being like, hey, we catch you again. Here are the consequences. Here's what's going to happen. 8 a.m. is insane, especially for a day game at noon, I think?
I think it was a 1 p.m.
Saturday
game.
I mean, most of those guys are getting to the park, I think, at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at the latest.
For sure. Yeah.
So I'm assuming curfew's set when you're on the road. Like there's a lot of things that go into this where I think lines have been drawn. Like here are our expectations, don't cross them. I think it sends a massive message on what will be tolerated moving forward. I like it all. I'm okay with everything about this on the national side. I really am. Because like you and I have talked about it, and you can speak to this better than me, but like I think with the names they have and the core that they're trying to build and what they're trying to do, and they're only 5 years removed, from their last ring. It's not like they've gone this 10, 12, 15-year period of having to rebuild. Like in reality, this potential rebuild is happening pretty quick. I'm not sitting here and saying that they're going to be fighting for the division next year by any means. But when you talk about some of these names that they've gotten in these trades and the drafts, it's like, okay, we can see something happening here. So I think it sets like a really good precedent. It sends a really good message of like, this isn't going to happen. You're not wasting your time in some worthless organization. We pride ourselves on, having a championship mentality. I think this is a job well done by GM. I think this is a job well done by the organization in general. I support it.
And on top of that, I think the thing that people need to keep in perspective here, who has predominantly been the headlining name for the Washington Nationals this year?
Yeah.
One could argue CJ Abrams. So what would that say to the rest of the guys in that clubhouse if this just gets slid under the rug?
Right. 100%. 100%.
And this is more so for him than the team. The team doesn't need CJ Abrams right now. There's a week left to go in the season. They've been eliminated.
Right.
If anything, your guys in this situation are just using this last week to get tuned up before the offseason, just to make some last minute tweaks, some adjustments to see what's working for them, and they can build off that once the offseason gets here. This is more for him and getting him in a position of possible leadership heading into next year, because like we were just talking about, the Nationals are going to become more and more of a threat in seasons to come, and I would imagine they want him to be a part of that. I would probably peg the Nationals as a team that would follow a similar path. And again, we already talked about it. They got the ring back in 19, so it's not like we're talking about some team that's been thirsting for a ring for decades now. Like they've got that, but they're having to re-enter this cycle where it's like, okay, we got to get back to that point. And I'd probably say they're going to follow a path of like the Tigers, where it's like, okay, you're kind of the laughing stock of the league. Maybe not even a laughing stock, but you're uncompetitive for an extended period of time, and then you might even sneak into the playoffs this year. Then the next year, you maybe make a run at the division, and then the years to follow, you're possibly even going for the pennant. Who knows? But you can't get to that point if you don't take care of the little things first. Like they teach you that in Little League. In order to worry about the big things, you got to focus on the little things first. And if you have a guy that they want to peg possibly as a leader of this clubhouse, you can't let it slide that he's out at the casino till 8 a.m, regardless if they're eliminated or not. It does not matter.
And I think now more than ever, when you grab names from the past, and we can cross over into different sports, and you can talk, I mean, Michael Jordan's Michael Jordan, but like he absolutely was a gambling man. When you talk Dennis Rodman, flying to Vegas in the middle of the finals, you have David Wells going out and staying out late at bars and then throwing a perfect game the next day. Like there's eyes everywhere now, and information is instantaneous now. Like this is out in the open right away. And I think there's probably a little bit of like a smack in the face to the organization as well. It's just being like, I'm seeing a tweet about you. I haven't heard anything about you, but I'm finding out on Twitter because of what you're doing. Versus back in the day, it was like, a teammate had to go find him somewhere, or, the clubby had to go, do this. Like, it's just, you can't operate that way anymore. And you're not that guy yet. I don't think you have that kind of leash. You know what I mean? Like you haven't gotten to that point in your career where you're able to do these types of things. So not that it's ever necessarily acceptable in these terms of a day game and 8 a.m. checking back in from the casino. I mean, it's a tough look, dude. It's a tough look. And this is probably going to smart a little bit. It's probably going to be a little hit to the confidence, to the ego. But like, I think if I'm CJ Abrams, I got to be somewhat thankful of the timing of this type of decision. If this happens in July, which who knows, maybe he's not staying at a casino until 8 a.m. in July. But like, I think the way everything has been handled is good. There's a week left. We have the off season to let this kind of blow over. We have all of spring training to kind of get back on the feet. And he has come onto the scene, and he has started to show why he was worth that trade. So it's just going to take a lot to kind of overcome this, because jokes are going to be flying for a while.
Well, that's a perfect segue here, because the reason I started smiling is because I just remembered a picture I saw the other day, like probably within 24 hours of it happening. This is why social media is undefeated. Somebody had photoshopped a picture. Well, they took the picture that was snapped of CJ Abrams at the table, and somebody made it real small, put him over in the corner, but it was Ipe standing at the same table, like on the other side. I'm like, these folks don't let anything slide, man. It's crazy.
I saw a tweet that was like, and I don't know if this number is accurate at all, but it was like CJ Abrams lost 130K at the casino, which still isn't a record. And then like a little space below just says Ipe in parentheses 2023. like he holds that record. Oh, it's so true. I love it.
Speaking of losing, let's revisit this White Sox nugget. 120 losses on the season, made official mere moments ago at the hands of the Padres. I believe it was a comeback win for the Pods, who we'll touch on here in just a moment. They're riding the wave of their own. But the White Sox have tied the 1962 Mets record for most losses in the modern era.
6 games left
At 120 with 6 games left.
I feel good about this. I feel good about that record. Let's get to 125.
You
That's
think
a
they'll
nice
go
round number?
Okay, give me your realistic estimate as to how you think these last 6 games are going to go for the White Sox. What do you peg? What is their final loss tally by the end of this week?
So 6 games. Angels, they're hosting the Angels starting Tuesday. And then they're going to Detroit to finish out for 3 games.
So it's is it a league-wide off day tomorrow, correct? Aren't all these, because there's 6 games left, unless somebody's getting.
I think there's probably like a makeup, like rain out games, stuff like that. Maybe Thursdays that.
Oh, there's 4 games on Monday.
4 games tomorrow.
That's all we got. So that means
I hate that. So 6 games.
Yeah.
I would really love to see. A round 125.
Oh, and you said they close out with the Tigers.
Yeah, I just
on
don't
the
believe
road.
in that. I don't think the Angels are good enough to take 2 out of 3. Screw it. Let's go. Let's go 1 for 5. 1 and 5 here. A nice round 125 loss season.
125. That would math don't fail me now. That would be 125 and 37.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it'd be one more win than they have now, which is 36. Yep.
Yeah.
That math adds up.
Need that. Love that. Feel bad for Grady Sizemore.
I really don't like. I mean,
I like Grady.
they were on this. Yeah, but this is no reflection of Grady Sizemore. They were on this trajectory when he took over. They had been on this trajectory pretty much since opening day. So like he's more so just along for the ride than anything. But yeah, I mean, I would hate to have to show up to the ballpark every day with this going on. But I think the highlight from this stretch that they've been on as of late, or really the whole season, but especially as of late, is what you and I were talking about, the social media admin. The Twitter admin has fully thrown in the towel.
Good.
As if they had no reason to at any other point during the season. I think they got to a point where they're like, we're really coasting now. We're letting it ride.
I love it.
So I mean, if you're on Twitter at all, you need to check out what's been going on. They're just letting it loose. Pretty much any of the game like recap tweets that they post, it's just like the ones I'm looking at now. Final, instead of posting the score, said can be found on the MLB app. Final, the number of runs we scored was not greater than the number of runs they scored. Final, the other team scored more runs than us. And then the one tonight after they dropped that comeback win to the Padres, it was something like, you saw it. What was it? It was like post the final. It was that car peeling off to the exit ramp meme. It was like post the final score graphic or literally anything else, and it's peeling off to literally anything else. They just don't care. Like I said,
I like it. I'm here for that.
Oh, I love it. I'm just genuinely surprised it took them this long. I guess they must have had like an internal conversation with the social creative team, and they're like,
yeah,
all right, we're in the clear now. Like we don't have these games truly mean nothing at this point. So, good on the White Sox for
I like this one.
embracing the suck. I can't say the same about the A's, but, whatever. They're going to do what they're going to do.
I like this one. 4 days ago, it says narrator, : the White Sox did not win 4 in a row. Flat emoji face.
Yeah, that was I saw that one and I had to pause and go back and look at the schedule. I'm like, hold on, the White Sox won 3 straight? When did this happen?
I love this. I just think like there's not to get like too serious about this because whatever, but like there's just something that's so cool in sports when you're like raw and real and like when the fan base knows what you mean and can see through your politically correct BS answers and tweets and comments and you're like, just be real, dude. Like just show what we're all saying and thinking.
It's one of the simplest social experiments you could ever run. Go look at the comments. I mean, I'm looking at this through the lens of like social media success and just kind of embracing the fans that pay money to watch you and support you. Just do a little compare and contrast. Go read the replies in those tweets, and then, well, you can't read the replies of the A's tweets, but just do a little digging around and see what the sentiment was surrounding that, and then compare that to what the White Sox are doing.
Yeah,
White Sox are a far worse team this year,
right?
And they're still getting love on social because of stuff like this. It's an easy social experiment, and I don't know why more teams don't do this. I think you're right. I think trying to like keep a professional tone on nobody cares. Like nobody cares. Just let it eat and have fun with it because you suck and you're now tied for the most losses in the modern era. So
1-5, 1-5, everybody. That's
good on the White Sox. Here. I'm about it. Let's talk about some teams that are in the mix here, making a push. Well, one of them's already in. The other one is not officially in yet, which is wild, given that you're a 90-win team at this point. But the Dodgers and the Padres. Just want to touch on this division race right quick because I'm looking at you, Nate.
Yeah.
You pretty much written this division off a couple weeks ago. And I said, no, hold on. And then you asked me, you're like, well, what would you consider close? Or how many games back would the Padres have to be for it to be considered a quote?
I believe I said less than 3.
Not a cute story.
Yeah.
I think we both
less than 3.
Yeah, I think we both agreed on that. I think I said like 2.5 or something.
It's a fair number.
Because you were calling it a cute story, the run that the Padres and respectively the D-backs were making, although the D-backs have hit a little bit more of a slide. Padres are 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 4 straight. And as mentioned, 3 back of the Dodgers.
At the time of this recording.
So all that say, just checking in. Don't entirely think it's just a cute story yet.
Big 3-game set. I want to see the pitching matchups here. Michael King against somebody with the last name Knack.
Landon Knack. Who knows ball?
Dylan Cease, Jack Flaherty.
By the way, Nate, on this note, you and I got called out on
Joe Musgrove against Undecided.
We got called out on YouTube for not remembering that Shohei's walk-off was a grand slam. They said this channel sucks. These guys don't know ball. I said, that seems rational.
From weeks ago, that was like a month ago. Gotcha.
That seems rational.
Cool.
Very rational take. I really appreciate that.
I remember everything about the moment, just don't remember it being a walk-off. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tough. Yeah, but good matchups for the Padres at least. Again, this
Nate,
is a 3-game set, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I mean, the Padres take this. They hypothetically they sweep this series. We're looking at the final 3 games.
I know what's crazy too
deciding this.
The Padres, the Dodgers go on to go to Coors Field to face the Rockies, but the Padres come here to Phoenix and finish up with the Diamondbacks. So however this series goes, it's a tougher final 3-game set for the Padres for sure.
So I mean, that would make sense if you're gonna get if you're getting your punches in, you better do it this series because Dodgers are heading to Colorado. Good luck with that, Padres. If you don't take the series and you're trying for that division crown, which they may or may not be, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
I would venture to say that it's probably a team by team approach in terms of who actually wants the division based on the way they've seen these last few expanded postseasons go with teams getting the bye versus not getting the bye. How does that impact momentum? How does that impact the rest that you get or lack thereof? Some teams may not want that division. I know it sounds silly, but there's some strategy to it if you look at the way things have gone.
I'm not ready to let that die yet. I'm not ready to let that narrative or theory die yet. I mean, taking that time off, it just depends, dude, because one can argue that the Dodgers need it to get a little bit more healthy. Still a million question marks around that pitching staff. I mean, Thursday's game is still undecided. We have no idea what's going on there. So Padres, I mean, they give me like Diamondbacks from last year vibes where it's just like, let's just keep playing, stay hot, stay in a groove. It's that theory that which I don't know how I feel about this theory, but sometimes it makes sense. Where home runs kill a rally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd prefer,
that's very real.
I'd prefer doubles to roll over or something a single and score a runner than empty the bases with, a home run. Sometimes it kills the rally. I feel like when you're going hot, you don't want days off. You don't want to rest. You want to stay in the groove. So it's very interesting. And like you mentioned, the Padres being 8-2, you're gonna be amped up, man. It is in LA, by the way, not in San Diego. If it was in San Diego, I think this would be a very different, exciting thing. But I think the Dodgers are fine. I think they're okay.
You think they pull it out?
I think they're okay because I'm rooting for something to happen. And with what Shohei could do, it means that they're likely winning. So I'm rooting for what Shohei could do. Well, and I think the result of it being them winning.
You really set us up on a tee for that one. Speaking of which,
Platter.
Shohei Ohtani pushing for 60-60. And I know, you hear that and you go, there's no way. We were wondering if he'd even make 50-50 by the end of the season. Yeah, he probably was too. And then was like, well, I'm here. May as well push it to 60-60 or at least die trying. Shout out 50 Cent.
Look, I think the swipes are there. The swipes feel like they come naturally.
53 homers and 55 bags. I think you're right. I think he gets 60 swipes, which, if I'm being honest, it's a more impressive thing, but I like the round nature of a 50-50. So if you're going to do one, do the other. And I know that's asking a lot because we have 6 games left.
Oh, you're saying
7 home runs.
Don't. If you can't get the 7 home runs, don't get to 60.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, don't give me a 50-60 season. That does.
Yeah, it doesn't ring. That doesn't ring as well. Yeah,
it doesn't roll off the tongue.
I get that. But I mean, when you think about it, could you imagine a more perfect ending? You get 3 games at home, and then you get 3 games in Denver at Coors Field. We just watched him hit 3 in Miami.
Yeah, he tees off on suck teams.
If he gets a couple 7 home runs in 6 games is nuts. But
all right, let's map it out here. So you got 6 games. You would obviously need a couple multi-home run games in there. So let's say he has 2 multi-home run games. That would put him at 4, which would give him 57, which means he would have
3 home runs in 4 games.
3 home runs in 4 games, which means, zoom out, big picture, you're hitting a home run every game for the final 6 games of the regular season. So that's a feat.
Here's the other argument, though. It takes away the opportunities for the swipes. Like
that's very true.
Can't steal as many bags if you're trotting. So
yeah, that's true, because that would means that those ABs that you're not hitting nukes. You have very limited ABs at that point. That means you have to get on in those few limited ABs. So which really means Shohei would probably have to hit like 950 over the course of the last 6 games.
Yeah.
So if you're
want
Shohei,
60-60.
Give me 60-60 or give me nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, otherwise shut it down on the bases. You're right. 50-60 does not have their ring.
Because even if you get 59, you're not you're not in the 50-60 club. But then it's like you may as well be at 60, so just get 60.
Yeah.
Either shut it down now or get the 66. It's simple.
He's rolling though. He's rolling.
He's mashing.
He's hot right now. So
let me see.
But again, day off tomorrow. Like sometimes you don't want those.
That's not what Shohei needs right now. Sorry, I'm pulling up what Shohei's done the last 10 days. So in 10 games between September 12th and September 22nd, he's hitting .429 with 18 hits, 6 home runs, 19 ribbies, and 12 runs scored.
And 200 total bases.
200 total bases. And now 7 swipes over that span. So 7 swipes over 10 games, over his last 10 games.
I feel like the swipes are there. I need just a straight slugfest in Denver.
He can do it. I mean,
need a couple of these games to go extra. Like I think I want it. Root for something, you know. I need the White Sox to tank. I need Ohtani to become.
All right, so the checklist for Nate. Checklist for Nate this week. White Sox go 1-5. Shohei, just do the 60-60 thing.
That's all I need. Then I'm fine.
That's simple.
Everything else doesn't even matter. It's a simple ask.
We'll see if it plays out. We'll see if it plays out. Lastly here, Nate, let's talk about this final series coming up at the Coliseum. Talking kind of the theme of this episode has been this upcoming week, this final week of the regular season. That will include the final series, I should say, just generally speaking, at the Oakland Coliseum, starting on Tuesday, running through Thursday versus the Rangers before they make their move to Sacramento. I'm going to avoid being negative here, but I do have to say something right off the top because it made me stop and go, I read today that apparently more and more players are growing upset because they wish they were staying at the Coliseum. And I read that, and I had to stop and go, Because we know objectively that the Oakland Coliseum is not good.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want to stay there?
Maybe they've befriended some of the raccoons that are living in there.
The possums in the ceiling? It's possible.
Yeah.
Raccoons are in Queens. We're getting our animals mixed up. The possums are in Oakland. They were in the visiting radio booth.
What would
if
you rather be
recall.
friends with?
Raccoons for sure.
Their little hands. I like their
Raccoons are
little
super
hands.
chill. They're like little
Yeah.
bandits,
Yeah.
little
Like
trash
their-
bandits.
Yeah. Just love their little hands. Possums are weird. They hiss, I think. They hiss, but they kind of look like
They're
Like a-
chill though. Yeah, they're chill.
they're like a rat with like an armadillo tail thing.
Oh,
going
you're
on.
talking possums. I thought we were still talking raccoons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know if the possums are chill. Yeah, they might be kind of nasty, but the raccoons are
Give me raccoons all day.
chill. But other than that, other than this sentiment from the players, from these Oakland A players that claim that they're upset that they wish they could stay because they can't stay. They're upset that they can't stay. Which I can't wrap my head around. Don't even know if that was said, or don't know if this was a thing where the person writing the article just needed some filler and decided to go with a vague, arbitrary, sweeping statement.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, though, how do we feel about this being the swan song for the Coliseum?
I don't know. I mean, like you got to imagine they're basically like minor league facilities anyway. Like I don't think it's that much of a downgrade to go to Sacramento.
No, I don't. I'm not talking necessarily big picture. I'm not even really talking about next year. I'm just saying like this just being it, like that, because I gotta say I'm sitting there. I'm sifting through some articles and just trying to gauge like what the expectation is for this final series, and it's like one of those things where it made me stop and think about the fact that like the Oakland A, for as long as we've been alive and fans of baseball, it's been the Oakland A's.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of one of those things where you're like, this is really happening.
Yeah.
Like this isn't just a
weird.
talking point that we touched on months ago to, because it was something that popped up in the news. Like, no, this is a real thing that's happening.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
coming to a close.
I'm ready for it. I understand that like there's probably some bittersweet aspects to it. Do we know what the A's faithful is doing? All the groups that like boycott games or decide to bring this to a game or don't bring this or park here. Or,
Well,
the dozens of fans that
okay. Well, we're not. I
to-
said we're not gonna go on a slander fest here, and I'm not going to. But the last I checked, the tickets were going like very fast for this series.
even though they were expensive, right?
Oh right, yeah. Oh man, I
I
completely
think they
forgot
marked
about
them
that.
way up.
Yeah, we definitely talked about that. I completely forgot they did that. That was like weeks ago at this point.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, we see there's some demand here, so screw you.
It'd be
Let's
cool
look-
to see, man. It'd be cool to see, and I hate to say it, I do think it'd be neat to see like something.
According to
Not
SeatGeek,
at
shout
all.
out SeatGeek, use promo code threeohtake, THREEOHTAKE for $20 off your purchase. According to SeatGeek, the availability is looking a little sparse. I mean, all things considered, it's looking a little thin in terms of ticket availability. So I think
Good.
for that, at least for the finale, I can't speak for the other two games, but for that Thursday game,
Who they got again?
the Rangers are coming to town.
That's right. Yeah, I would like to see a little something, not at all on the same level. At all. But the Yankees' final game in old Yankee Stadium, everyone comes out and Jeter grabs the mic and, like that kind of thing. I don't think there's going to be a microphone situation, but I
Nope.
think it would be cool to have like some type of moment. You know what I mean? Like the fans aren't leaving their seats. Like,
Did you not-
something like that?
Okay, so you didn't hear this then. Okay, because I saw this just before we hopped on. Stand by. I gotta find this because there apparently was something that came out that said that here it is. from Dugout Report on Facebook. The A's, this is me reading the post verbatim, so don't come after me. I don't know if this is fully accurate. This is what I saw. According to Dugout Report, the A's and the league have told players not linger after the Athletics' last game in Oakland on September 26th. Quote, precautions for the final homestand have been taken by the team, per ESPN's Tim Keown, alerting the players to be aware of their surroundings in case fans decide to take the field. Players have also been told not to gather for photographs with family on the field after the game. Just get out of there, quote, JJ Bleday said this. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. Quote, just get out of there, JJ Bleday said the sentiment was. Manager Mark Kotze, who had planned to thank the crowd after the game, was told to go straight to the clubhouse, Bob Nightingale reported.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Honestly, to me, that sounds like a cop-out from the league. And no, that's absolutely. I don't know why I didn't arrive at this conclusion earlier. That's 1,000% a cop-out from the league saying, oh, like we don't want anything to happen to the players. No, what you don't want to happen is there for to be any sort of ceremony that would commemorate the fact that one of the owners and the league just as a whole, in terms of how they've managed this situation, was completely botched. And you don't want there being any sort of signage that makes its way onto the field after the game. You don't, because that's going to be there. People are going to find a way to get that in. But you just don't want there to be any added time or opportunity for the league or for fans or even players even to make any sort of statement that would speak out against one of your owners or your league. It's as simple as that.
This is weird. You're right. This is very weird. This is very weird. Like you're saying goodbye to a city. Like as much as we want to dog on them, as much crap that I want to dish out to them, you're saying goodbye to a city.
That's what I'm saying.
Like you are saying goodbye. It's not like a new stadium is opening up across the street. Like this is like an official goodbye. It's weird to not even allow that to happen. It's weird to not have like any moments. I don't know. I don't like this. The whole thing sucks. The whole thing could have been like just build a new spot in Oakland and you would have been fine. Spend money. Like this is a breakup that never needed to happen. Bad owners.
I've made my thoughts pretty clear over the last year or two about the situation, and I feel like I've been somewhat critical of the A's fan base in terms of not so much the way they've responded to this situation, but where they were at when the team was successful and making those. Yeah. They were showing up in the wild card. They were making those runs into the DS. People said, "Well, why would we?" The common response that I got from A's fans: why would we show up and support a losing product and bad ownership? We want a winning product, and it's not that difficult to assemble that if you care. It's like, okay, well, those years back in the 2010s where you were showing up in the postseason. I went back. I laid out the attendance numbers for those games.
Yeah.
And it kind of raises your eyebrow a little bit. You go, where was the turnout for those and it wasn't necessarily, I'm sorry, let me rephrase. It wasn't the postseason turnout. It was the regular season leading up to those postseason games, because it's
where there was success. Yeah.
You're watching winning baseball. You have to be winning baseball games as a team if you make it to the postseason, which is what they did. Sorry, I needed to rephrase that. It was the regular seasons of those years. And it's like, okay, well, where were you then? Like it's hard for me to look at that and then look at the way this year has gone. And then it's like, well, why are you taking our team from us? It's like,
yeah,
I understand it's more complex than just this, but I don't know. I've had a hard time digesting the whole like Oakland fans are the greatest fans in the world. It's like,
that's what I'm saying. Like I can't get there. I'm not going to get there. I'm not ever going to get there.
Yeah.
Like you had your chance to, and I get it. Like you don't want to support, but you do want to support. It's very strange, and it's probably a tough line to toe. But like, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. But to your point, it sucks. You're leaving a city, and I can certainly sympathize with fans on that. Like that, I'm not gonna get all cold on them for that. Like that. Yeah. I mean,
that part sucks. Is like. I just think it's directly with fans and players. Like if you can remove all the other aspects to it, like allow players to hang out, allow players to sign autographs. Fans aren't getting on the field. It's not going to happen. This isn't the 70s. So like, don't sit here and say like, we're going to watch out for that. It's not going to happen. Signs are going to happen no matter what. Like I don't understand. The sentiment is going to carry over into Sacramento. You're still going to have a bitter fan base. And you're going to have Sacramento that's like, we don't care that you're here. You know, like you're still going to have those aspects to it. Like nothing about a standing O or walking around signing autographs or taking a lap around the field is going to change that. Just let it be what it is and not step in. Shame on the league. Shame on the league, shame on the A's.
It's too predictable, though. You could have seen this coming. The league just doesn't want any blowback after that last A's game. They just don't want to deal with it. So they're saying, A's management, front office, tell your team to wrap it up after the final out and get him in the clubhouse because we don't want to deal with any of this. We don't want to deal with the signs. We don't want to deal with the insults. We don't want to deal with any sort of sentiment that would reflect poorly upon us, which from a business perspective, I get it, but also like you made your own bed. Like now you got to lay in it and they're doing everything they can to avoid having to lay in it, which is just sad, but
good point.
What else would you expect from the league? That's all I really had, unless you got anything else. Any other items you want to touch on before we get into the week?
No, not really. Did I say something before? I can't remember.
No. Nothing you wanted to put a pin in?
Give me your top 5. Give me your top 5 jersey numbers real quick. What would you wear? What would you want to wear?
Oh, put me on the spot here.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
Well, I mean, I got to put my 2 numbers at the top. I'd have to go. Got to go 34. And I got to go 8.
Okay.
But then after that, I'd go 24. 24 is a sexy jersey number.
Okay.
And then
I do concur there.
And then I'd probably go 5. No, I'd go 9 and then 5.
9.
9.
Really? 9 isn't sexy to me. No, not there.
I love 9, dude. That's a good baseball number.
Yeah. Mine are mostly low. Give me 2. Give me 7. Give me 8. Give me 21.
21.
21's just a good baseball number. I like that.
But yeah, no, I mean,
and then give me 3.
No judgment. I just didn't know.
2, 7, 8, 21, 3.
Where's 21 stem from?
I don't know. Just a good number. I like it. It's a good baseball number.
That is a good baseball number. Shout out Roberto Clemente.
Guess that name, Hall of Fame.
One of the members of our Guess the Name Hall of Fame. Very, very valid point. Yeah. Let's have a good week, folks. Final, like we talked about pretty much the whole episode. Last week of regular season baseball. My closing thought would be, because I had this thought myself. I had to stop myself from what I was doing, and I had to really let it sink in that we've only got 6 games left, and even if your team sucks, watch the last 6 games, because I promise you, if you're listening to this, you've
Very
probably
true.
been a fan of baseball for some time, so you know what I'm about to say, but you're going to get to a point in the middle of January
So true.
and you're going to say, man, I wish my team was on TV right now, and you won't be able to watch them on TV. You know why? Because it's the off season. So what's the best thing to do with 6 games left? Watch those games on TV.
So very true.
So even if your team sucks, even if whoever your team is going up against this week in their last 2 remaining series, even if they're going to get pounced, watch the games because you're going to miss it once the offseason hits.
It's a great point. Let's end on that. Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love y'all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.